Go.
Hello, Vivienne.
Hello, Sara. How are you?
I'm great, actually. I am good. Yeah. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm very busy.
I
um,
understand. Yes.
whilst the world is on lockdown, and some, I watch my social threads, and some are having all this lovely creative time and reading and watching Netflix, and others are out with their kids in the garden, and I'm on Zoom mainly. That's what I'm doing. How about you?
Yeah, I've kind of fallen into that category of I seem to have a lot more time, but I get into bed and I'm thinking, why am I so exhausted? And I seem to, well, the main focus in our house, because I have three boys, well, two boys and a man, three boys, is food. So it's all about food, and it's all about what's dinner going to be, and that seems to occupy my mind, is how am I going to feed everybody and not have them go completely stir crazy.
Oh, I get that. I've definitely baked more. I made a bread and butter pudding.
I
In
saw
fact,
your picture. It looked
I'm making
delicious.
egg custard because I've got a plethora of milk. That's another story. I've got milk left over, and I don't want to waste. I definitely don't want to waste things. It's a big improvement on that. I definitely think, oh, what can I do with that?
Oh, I found all kinds of interesting things in
Oh,
my cupboard and
yeah.
become quite creative. So
So
yeah,
I'll be
it's kind of.
posting egg custard pictures later and eating egg custard. That's my
I,
tea.
I did make sweet potato brownies yesterday, but I didn't post a picture because everyone said it looked like turf.
What are we going to say then? Turf. Okay, yes.
It was like lovely, lovely bit of turf. So I'm like, I'm not posting a picture of that. No way.
Oh dear.
Interesting times. So
They
tell us,
are.
tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm a mindset coach. So I help people to kind of understand what's going on their head and, well, reset it really, because normally everything we've got has been programmed from years ago, and us hypothesizing as to what the outcomes of things are going to be, which of course everybody at the moment is going a little bit crazy with, because none of us know. I don't think any of us know at any point. So yeah, so a mindset coach. I typically work with business owning women. They're my kind of people, and usually service-based businesses. So a business where they are giving back in some way to the planet, to the universe, to people. They're kind of people I tend to help. But at the moment, I'm helping anybody that needs it. I feel like it's my absolute identity in the world to help people with a mindset, and I feel like I'm a key worker in that place. So anybody that needs support, I'm doing my best to help. So hence here, trying to help some of your lovely people, if I can at all, through this.
Yeah, well, and that's why I thought of you, because I know I've jumped on a few of your networking calls over the last while, and it was just really interesting to hear, what a lot of your kind of tribe are going through and what they're experiencing. And
Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of talk about taking people from just surviving into thriving with their business. So most of my clients are just at startup, or they're a bit stuck, or they don't know how to scale, and their mind is stuck in that area. So I help to give them the tools and skills and mindset into the next space. Whereas now, at the moment, it's now, okay, hang on a minute, we've gone from trying to go into thrive to, oh, it's about survival for a lot of business owners now. So luckily, mine are all service-based. I've been taking them all online for the last few years. So the vital signs are very positive, and I feel very blessed, and so do they, that hopefully we can keep our little part of the economy going, so that hopefully we can do some form of recovery. I figure if there's a lot of people like me and you that are doing our best to help everybody, then we will all come through it, and hopefully in a better place. Who knows? We have to believe it's happening for us, don't we, Sara?
oh, absolutely. And the expression, a rising tide, raises all boats, lifts all boats. So it's not about everyone just being certainly from my experience of the people I'm kind of connecting with and what I'm seeing coming back, because whatever you focus on expands.
Yes.
It's very much about, how can we help? How can we be of service? And in the same time, elevate ourselves as well. It's not all about, you can't serve from an empty vessel at the end of the day.
No.
So if you are a business owner, and I know in the UK it's particularly difficult for people who own and run their own businesses, whilst their employees might be okay, they may
They're
not.
No. Yeah, there's a lot of people that owner managed businesses who haven't been paying themselves the salary because they're reinvesting back into the business, and so actually they can't get 80% of anything because they haven't been paying themselves. Dividends don't count. So those of us that have had that kind of trying to grow the economy at the bottom end of the market, we feel like we've all been penalised quite significantly. So I do feel truly blessed that my business is able to continue as I have have many people, not my clients actually, but friends around me, certainly with service-based businesses like nail salons, hair salons, just overnight wiped out and no support apart from maybe their rent and rates. But that's still slow to come as well. So I'm sure the British government have done what they think is best for the majority, but certainly in the work, in my kind of arena, they're really up in arms. So it'd be interesting to see if they do anything about that. But a very sad time for some people.
Absolutely.
And of course, you talked about, what we focus on expands. So of course, we're all focused on fear and stress and, oh, what we're going to do and when can we leave? And I can't see my mum and I can't see this and my kids are not at school. And not for me personally, I don't have any of those problems. I'm a single person living on my own with no responsibilities at all for anyone. So, but yeah, most people around have got this whole kind of when can we get back to some sort of normality? So lots of fear going on, as I'm sure you're experienced from. This is why you've created this lovely.
Yeah, and it's very much, one of the things I made a decision was that I would watch the news maybe once a day.
Yeah.
As opposed to having it on from when we get up to when we went to bed, which was kind of, what was happening at the beginning. And like any big disaster that hits, like 9/11 or, 2008, now, people are absolutely glued because obviously bad news is what we're looking for in terms of, well, how do I stay safe? What do I need to be aware of? The problem, of course, is when that is the main focus, everything else that could be quite positive goes out the window.
Absolutely, like the amazing weather. So I don't know what it's like where you are, but over in the UK, in the central England, it's
sunny,
21 degrees.
And now it's kind of clouding over. I'm not quite sure what's going on out there. So we're a bit hit and miss over. we get hit with the Atlantic. We break the weather for you, and then you get all the nice weather. So.
Yeah, it's very kind of you. Thank you. So the furloughed people are having a beautiful time, having barbecues with their family out in the garden. Doing their garden.
Maybe they are. It was interesting. I've had a few chats with lots of friends, and one of the things that's been beautiful for me actually is connecting with friends.
Yes, finally.
And it's like, only took a pandemic.
Seriously, we're so bad. We're so busy normally, empire building, Sarah. This is a problem. And I'll tell you what I've realised, I've started to look at my personal life in a very different way because I've realised that my life's not a lot different in lockdown than it was before. I've become almost insular. It's all been about, I've launched my Vivienne Joy's Life Foundation, which is a not-for-profit. So I've been really focused. That's had all of my love and passion and attention. And so no one else has had, my friends are still messaging me on WhatsApp and things like that. But actually going out, no, I'm thinking, when did I last go in here? That wasn't a business conference or wasn't, me speaking at an event for my foundation or for my business. Yeah, no, I can't really remember very many. May have met a friend for lunch, but yeah, it's the thing I'm missing most is my hair salon. Sorry about that. And my nail salon, yeah. And McDonald's breakfast. They're like the only things I'm missing.
As these chats go on in time, my white streak is going to get longer and longer.
You look like her out of Frozen. What Elsa with what's the other one with the streak?
Either that or Cruella de Vil is often. Yes. So I'm not quite sure. I'll kind of go.
I'm wondering if a black Sharpie pen's going to work. I'm definitely going to try it. I'm not going to lie. That's definitely going to be something I'm going to try. Actually, luckily, it doesn't show up too badly on Zoom, I don't think. It's certainly not as good as the naked eye. We're getting away with it, probably.
So just from a point of view of your experience, and particularly, as I said, with your tribe, who are business owners, and particularly kind of service industries and things like that, what sort of advice do you would be useful for people at this time, particularly if they are in that boat?
Well, talking of Frozen as the film, I have no rights to it at all, is let it go. I think what happens is certainly with women, and actually I think with guys as well, but we seem to just think we've got to have our shit together. We think we have to be in control. We think it's not okay to not be okay. And there's a big saying, isn't there? It's okay not to be okay. And I think especially as business owners or high up in career where we have to have our shit together, we're scared of letting it go. And I definitely have seen some of my clients literally break down, and I don't mean long term, but just an emotional downpour. I've started to call them flash floods because that's exactly what they are. They're just like a release.
I went through 2 days of flash floods then.
Flash floods, yeah, and that's exactly what they are, literally. Well, our world has them, we have stormy weather or windy weather, and I think it's just the same with us, with our emotional and internal emotion. And if we internalize it makes us ill, and so that causes stress, which we all know. the impacts of that in the body. I'm sure you've had lots of people on talking about that. So it's about letting it go, because then you can deal with what's causing it. Because if you've got the emotion and the thoughts, it's really hard, because you don't want to get access to the thoughts. The emotion kind of shields them. We're in lockdown. So yeah,
Ooh,
we're not supposed to be, in emotional lockdown. We're supposed to be in physical kind of social lockdown from that point of view. And I think most people have got that little bit
I think
wrong.
that's a brilliant, that's just like completely gone through me
Feel
there.
Yes, yeah. And in fact, I just literally created a post. Are you in emotional lockdown? And actually, with some people, they're in financial lockdown. Now, I know there are a load of people financially that are literally thinking, how the hell am I going to pay things? And the impact on that is either, oh, I need to make money, or do you know what? I can't pay it. And I think it kind of goes either way. But also, we also know the flow of energy through us, the flow in our minds, the flow of emotions, also the flow of money. So keep paying your local people small amounts of money if you can, and it'll start to come back in. So, you know, if you go on lockdown for that, it blocks flow for money as well. And I think a lot of people are into that, oh my God, I can't afford it space, which, you know, creates the, oh my God, I can't afford it space, which is evolutionary when you keep thinking in that way. So yeah, I created do you know what, it was only when we chatted at the beginning, but about 2 years ago, when I did have a hairdresser that I could get access to, I created a video.
It was only 2 years ago, it was only a couple of months ago.
The video program's a few years old, but it's still exactly the same concept, because of course this work is the same, about helping you understand what's going on in your head. And I think a lot of people, if they understood why they felt a certain way, it would be acceptable and they would allow it. Whereas most of the time they're thinking, oh my God, especially if they have a history of any form of mental health issues or diagnosed issues, whether they were even issues circumstantial, you know, depression or anxiety or anything that's, I think a lot of people are in fear that they're going to go back there. And of course, as soon as they start thinking that. So I created a program called From Stress to Success, which is all about helping people to understand what's going on, where it's coming from, which beliefs are triggering what, and how they can reset them. And the program is a 7-step process of resetting some of those beliefs that have been created in childhood and beyond, into moving forward into thinking of different ways of reacting, different stress reactions, different ways of being. So it's not, you know, go and meditate. It's not one of those. It's really quite a psychological look at what's going on for those people that really want to understand it and reprogram it themselves. So it's like a self-help guide. So I'm very happy to gift that to your listeners, your viewers, as a free thing. I've completely forgotten.
The link below.
Below, yeah, below. I feel like I'm on like Strictly or something. Yeah, so that link's below. So they just have to put their, I don't even know if they put their email address in, but I always do lots and lots of free things. So if they do, they'll just get more of that sort of thing.
Well, I know you are extremely generous with your content.
Yes, I do give a lot.
And you've written a book as well. Don't hide your light under a bushel.
Oh yeah, I forget about things. Yes, I do, and coaching cards, and yes, I do so much to try and help people with low cost things, because I'd rather help lots of people in some way than a few people in you know, with high price things. I'm not really one of those people. So because I'm just helping myself. You know, I was there at the beginning of a business and having no idea what the hell I was doing, stressed out, thinking I was crap, and you know, lacking in confidence, lacking in knowledge, lacking in money. So I kind of serve those people, because some of them have got some amazing business ideas. And I think what might come out of this, and I'm hoping, Sara, is that they'll come up with, I don't have to go back to that bloody job anymore. And in fact, the job's probably not even there. What can I do to earn money? So I enthuse anybody watching and listening to this to ask, how can I earn money differently? What can I do differently? Because
so I did I was on an interesting course, just as you're saying that, what's going to come to my mind is I was on a crazy kind of course last year, and it was about, you know, manifesting and you know, being able to tap into the energy. I mean, everything's energy. We know that from quantum physics. This is not woo stuff or anything like that. Everything is energy, and everything is about, you know, what you send out and what you bring back in, and as you said, that flow. Yeah. And I think one of the things is to be able to be still enough to let those ideas drop in.
Yes.
Rather than now filling up this time, if they're not like you and now kind of 3 times busier, but if they've got that space where their job has gone or their business is on hold or whatever it is, to actually take that time to just go still, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. It doesn't mean 20 minutes of meditating or a day of meditating, whatever it is, but just long enough to just... Or as
one of my clients called it earlier, levitating. I went, no, that's a different thing. I haven't had time to do the levitating.
I don't know.
Wow, that's impressive.
Levitating our minds, maybe.
Because the thing is, what sometimes happens is people know this, so they do the still thing, and then what happens is they don't ask themselves, or they ask themselves things like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Why have I lost this?
That's maybe being physically still, but their mind is not.
Yeah, but also keeps them in lockdown. Whereas we're looking for expansion. We're looking for expansive solution-based thinking, which is how. Starts with how can I? How would I? How could I? Very powerful ways of moving yourself from a stuck storm, shitstorm, into, oh, here's a life raft. Oh, here's a safety boat. Oh, here's the lighthouse. You know, going, you know, how do I get out of this situation? How can I get out of the water where I'm flailing around drowning? Just get to some dry land, some safety, and start to be able to just enjoy the sun for a minute and work out what I'm going to do next.
Well, they say necessity is the mother of invention. So, you know, I think everyone's safety net has completely disappeared. We really don't, you know, that's any.
I've got one. Look, this is mine at the moment. This is my safety net. Bourneville dark chocolate. Honestly, God.
I can send you some turf.
Some turf. Actually, somebody posted on my Facebook earlier. Do you know anybody that's selling turf? But I'm pretty sure they're not going to deliver it to Northampton.
I don't think it was sweet potato brownies that they were referring to.
Listen, I haven't made my.
The only reason I made it was because I had sweet potatoes, and I was going, what am I going to do with them? Because no one else likes them apart from me.
You're just showing off. I haven't been able to get sweet potatoes anywhere. Honest, it feels like you win the food lottery when you find some food that's good. Though, don't you? I managed to get a steak
like Russia, circa 1985. You know.
I got a steak yesterday from my local shop. Was it day before? I really did feel like I'd won the lottery. It was like, wow. It was like I literally set the table as if I was on a date. I was like, well, it's like a real experience. So yeah, I think we've got some beautiful gratitude going on. A lot of people. Yeah.
That's definitely, I think for me, it's what can we, what do we have?
Yeah, it's a lot.
You know, an awful lot. And you know, there are people who don't have an awful lot, but even they will have something. And again, whatever they're focusing on, whatever, you know, they can be certain of, to kind of come back to that and to kind of, as you said, get onto a bit of dry land and just.
I was watching even a report on the news 3 or 4 days ago that even they're trying to home the homeless now. You're like, God, that's like, could that be a more positive thing? Like, you know, because I mean, well, they haven't been homed, have they, for a long, long time? It's like all of a sudden we're going to clean up the streets, literally. I mean, you know, I mean, I really feel for the key workers, obviously, and they're doing an amazing job. I don't know if you have the clap for the NHS key worker support worker thing going on over there, but every Thursday night at 8 o'clock, everybody stands outside and they're banging things and tapping things, and you really can hear it for a long way. It's a really quite emotional experience to think we're such solidarity. So there's definitely a lot of that going on. Oh, it made me feel a bit emotional as I was saying it. Yeah, it's like, whoa, that solidarity.
And I do hope that when this is over, that there can be a bit of a culture change as well.
Yeah, let's hope that this is the reason. Yeah,
I know that there's a big amount of research. There's a huge amount of research that shows that the sector that has the largest percentage of burnout are health workers.
Yeah,
health carers. You know, doctors, nurses. You know, anyone who's under that kind of pressure and expected to do those kind of hours, which are kind of superhuman. You know, that
well, of course, hopefully that might be a lightened load long term, because they're bringing so many more people into certainly the NHS for us here. I'm not really sure how other countries are operating, but you know, retired doctors, student nurses are now completely gone from, oh, you're a student nurse, to bam, you are on ward, baby, you're going. There was a lovely interview, and there was 3 student nurses stood outside, you know, with their appropriate distancing, and the woman was saying, how do you feel? And one of them, I mean, it made me cry. She said, I can't wait. She said, finally I get to do what I'm supposed to be doing. It's my vocation. And I was like, bloody hell. She wasn't remotely scared. She just couldn't wait to get out and do it. Like, she's been training for this and she gets the opportunity. So, you know, let's hope she still feels like that when she's done however many shifts back to back and can't get some eggs from the local shop. But I'm hoping it's just bringing more people into the NHS, so that long term there is more support and more kind of, yeah, hopefully more pay. Who knows?
Well, that would be good, because you know, they do such an amazing job, and you know, all of this isolation is to protect them as much as we can. And
none of us know what's going to happen to the economy at all. That seems to be, I mean, none of us can predict that. I certainly wouldn't want to be an economist right now to be trying to predict the impact this is going to have on anybody.
I might put a link on this, but I read a very interesting article about something called donut economy.
Oh, okay.
Which I believe Amsterdam are going to implement, and I thought, what an interesting thing. So I will put a link to the article if I can. I don't know if I'll be allowed to, but I saw it on LinkedIn, and it's really interesting. And from what I can understand from the article, is if you think of a ring, you know, in the ring is basically what are the things that we absolutely need that are not, you cannot compromise on. So you know, obviously water, heat, you know, housing, education, equal pay. You know, there are things that are absolutely necessities.
Donuts. I know, like food.
Food, yeah. You know, our social
Wine. No.
absolutely. God, that's fine. And anyone who who doesn't have those kind of falls into the middle.
Right. Yeah.
Of that, and anything beyond that is kind of greed.
Wow. Interesting.
And it's looking at what are the essentials and how can we minimize the impact on the environment. I mean, this is quite a revolutionary way of thinking of economics, as opposed to this kind of supply and demand and kind of, you know.
It sounds like the sort of thing you'd watch a Netflix film on and think, wow, gosh, as if that was ever going to happen. Some of this is real kind of, wow, that would never happen.
Well, I've been watching the Pandemic series on Netflix.
I haven't seen it. I don't know if I dare watch it. No.
You know what? Watch it, because it's the most unbelievable thing. You're watching this going, this is exactly what they did. This is, and all these crazy, I'm sorry, anyone who believes it is watching this, crazy conspiracy theories that Bill Gates is somehow behind all of this. It's like, that is not helpful. And it's very dangerous, because if they do come out with a vaccine, or they do come out with medication that can help this, and to help especially poorer people to avoid getting this, and therefore being in the situation of not being able to work and not be able to pay their bills and everything else, you know, there's kind of this, you know, it's like, let's look for who to blame is kind of what it feels like, when the reality is, let's all take responsibility for our bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how we are living our lives, and to get back to kind of alignment and a bit of integrity and everything else.
Oh, yeah, like the planet is. You know, nobody can deny. Forget, you know, I don't know how it's come or whatever. All I know is the impact. That's all I'm measuring. The impact now and what's likely to happen in the next day, the next day, the next day. Living each day, mindfulness, living in the moment. We're more, you know, we're being forced. You know, the air clarity. So I live in a little village that's about 10 miles from Weetabix. So the Weetabix manufacturing, the main manufacturing plant. And where it is, people who live there can smell it. It's like a really sweet kind of oaty smell. It's beautiful. I love it. You either love it or hate it. Some people that live there hate it. And this morning, on my one time I'm allowed to leave the house to exercise, I could smell it for the first time ever. And I've lived here for 3 years. That tells me the air quality for that smell to be able to expand into the airspace. That said everything to me. It's like, wow. And I looked up at the sky and I thought, our planet is really happy. Whatever's going on here, she's definitely recovering. Whatever your belief system is, you can't deny it, can you? Look at the weather, look at everything.
And isn't it a strange sort of parallel, which is that the planet can breathe, but this is all about us, you know. And that's why this is called the breathing space, because it is very much about stopping, taking a breath.
Yeah, and I found myself, I'm a spiritualist anyway, so I'm sorry for anybody that doesn't have the same belief system as me. We all have our entitlement, but I normally would talk to spirit or the universe or my own internal spirit. And this morning I found myself talking to the planet, and I'd never really done that before, saying thank you for everything you've given me, and I'm willing to give you this. You have this breathing space. I'll stop in and do everything that I'm supposed to do and stay safe at home, and you can recover, and then we can hopefully all get back to some sort of harmonious living. So you know, and I'm not denying there are people, you know, losing people and losing their lives, and losing their shit and lose their income, lose their business, but actually the long-term thing is what, you know, we all have to focus on to get through it, to keep hope, I think, really.
Absolutely. And I've said it a few times, which is, if we put aside the kind of the personal loss, in terms of lives and
it's easy to say if you're not experiencing it, so I fully understand that. It's very close time. I've got a few people that have had coronavirus in my life. A few people have lost people through it, so it's very close. Where I am in Northamptonshire, we were one of the first schools to go on lockdown because of it. We had a reported case. We had a care home. It was where I live very quickly. You know, it's been a very, very real situation, whereas there's some more rural places that don't have any cases. So
where I live, I thought we were okay, and then I heard recently there'd been quite a few cases. We're only 6,000-7,000 people, very small town, and there've been plenty of cases here. Now, I touch wood, I haven't heard of anything to the extreme at this stage, but you know, yes, there are going to be losses. There's no denying it, and there's nothing we can do really about those, other than our part of staying home instead and keeping ourselves safe and everyone around us. If we just put that to the side, everything else, I think that on balance, I can see, if we make the right choices and if we take this opportunity to change the systems.
And if it is a Mother Nature thing, you've got to have some respect for it, because you're like, if somebody had said to me 3 months ago, do you know what's going to happen, Vivienne? There's going to be a bit like a flu-like thing that actually most people will be okay with. They'll be ill, but they'll get through it. and it's going to completely grind all countries to a halt. Everyone will stay home. No one will be flying anywhere. People won't go to work. They'll be at home with their families. They'll be creative. They'll cook. They'll start to grow vegetables. They'll connect with each other on another way, and actually use technology in a more positive way rather than like escapism. They'll use it for connection, and that will happen until you all have sorted your shit out, and then you'll all be able to go out again and carry on life in the way you're supposed to. We'd have just gone, what a flu, get out of it, that's never going to happen. Nothing will stop the flights. Nothing will stop the economy.
I was certainly in denial when it started. I had a few people who were nurses or in the healthcare system who are on my courses, and they said, what do you think about this? I was like, we've had SARS, we've had swine flu, we've had this, the world has, we've all kind of got through it mainly. And I was definitely in denial. So if
no, I wasn't. I had heads up. Like I say, I'm a spiritualist. I kind of knew something was coming. In fact, I've been in a bit of lockdown since mid-December anyway, for some strange reason. In fact, this is weird. So in my diary, I use a paper diary, still a bit old-fashioned. I'd highlighted, starting in the beginning of February, I'd highlighted, yes, here's mine. Oh, look, they're identical. I'd highlighted from the beginning of February all the times I needed to leave the house. Why? I've no idea why I did that.
Well, all I know is in December, I kept saying, just give me 3 months. Just give me 3 months.
This is your fault. Look, you've created this law of manifestation. And my friend said to me, I was saying this to her, and she said, well, when did you stop highlighting? And I started to flick through, and I went, oh, she said, because surely if you have had the heads up on this. And I stopped highlighting. The last thing I'd highlighted was the 11th of June. And so it'd be interesting. I'm watching, thinking 11th of June, if I have had the heads up. But I also think I've had coronavirus. I was really poorly with a cough that was like nothing I've ever had, and couldn't breathe, and all sorts of weird stuff going on in January. So I think I picked it up.
I think a lot of people have, and
I've had it. Yeah.
They didn't realise. So yeah, so especially if your area was heavily affected. Yeah. So Vivienne, it's been, as always, a joy, and we could just sit and chat all day.
Oh, we could, and have done.
Yes. Half a day at the NLP conference last year. It was like, oh, there's another session on. We'll go to that one, and oh no, we missed it.
We missed 3. I think we missed 3, didn't we? Well, you see, when you're with like-minded people, and do you know what? Just as a final, it's important to have that. It's important to have like-minded people where you can be yourself and express yourself and cry and laugh and everything in between. So I'm very grateful to have you in my world. Thank you, Sara Haboubi.
Absolutely,
you're amazing.
The feeling's mutual. And it was just brilliant to talk to you. So your links will be down below. Anyone who is looking to go from stress to success, particularly at this time, and who's been surviving to thriving and then coming back to survival again, your work is really, really important.
Sure, yeah, and I've got free Facebook groups if there are any business owners anywhere that want to do that, and so I'll drop those in there as well. I do free coaching.
Oh, I love them, and I love your networking.
Absolutely. So everybody's welcome to join.
Go from strength to strength.
Thank you, darling.
Because
yes.
you are a tower of strength for people.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
We're so lucky to have you.
Yes, at 5'3.5". Yes, not sure if that can be described as a tower.
11. I look the same size. I look like a normal sized person on this. It's great.
That's it. And I haven't got a fat bum either on here. So it's like part of me prefers it. It's just from here upwards. Yeah.
Vivienne, our dreams have come true.
They have. Lovely to see you. Thank you for having me on your show, and I'm going to put you out into all my social platforms as well. People can have a laugh at us as well.
God bless you. Okay, stay safe.
Lovely to see you. Yeah. Take care.